You are now about to witness the strength of esoteric knowledge. All right, guys, welcome back to Beautiful Mind. Today we're going to be discussing Bitcoin, a bunch of our trend lines, a little follow up from our last tutorial. We're going to be discussing the future of Bitcoin and the areas where we can be looking for overhead resistance as well as support, and areas where we think Bitcoin may be moving in the next month. Let's take a look at this. If you're new here, I'm Roland Attenborough. I'm the leading scientific GANN and analytical researcher. I have courses and Square 9 products that are for sale, will help you to forecast better than the pros. Let's just dive right in. In our last few tutorials, we were talking about drawing this trend lines correctly. And of course, we were also discussing that where they cross, so both of these white lines here are both consistent with a 45-degree angle drawn up from our bottom here. As you can see, we have, I'm just going to bring this into better view here. We've drawn our angles up from the bottoms here, and they're consistent with our swing bottoms. We've just passed through these. Drawing our 45-degree angles, we're able to connect another 45-degree angle and run them down and consistently find the next breakout area. Also, when these cross, we can also determine that we are making tops and bottoms. And we can also see where it will square out with the next bottom to create the next top, and where we could expect another rally and a rollover to be experienced as consistently here. And again, these two angles here are the same. I just want to talk about these quickly before we get any further. So our angles are the same. I know I've got them put on here at 34, but let's just go ahead and let's make them a little steeper so we can be a little bit more consistent with a 45-degree angle that you would like to see. This will be really close to a 45 right here. And let's go have a look here. Oh, we're still 46. All right, so. Okay, so for this tutorial, we're going to be discussing where these 45-degree angles that are parallel here cross over our 45-degree angles running up from our bottoms, right? So every time we make a bottom like this, we draw an angle from zero. Go have a look at my previous tutorial where I share chapter 4 on Mr. Gann's commodity course, where we discuss trend lines and how to draw them correctly based on everything Mr. Gann has published and, of course, has utilized in his trading career. Note now when we get into these angles and they crisscross with angles moving up and angles moving down, they are consistent with snapback rallies and where we can see the price vibrate to within these areas. Our first one, of course, happened here, where we had a consistent top right here. From there, we drew another angle down at, say, a 45-degree angle. And we are always linking it with our next reaction top. And this is how we find them. And these are exactly the same. So we just continue to replicate the methods Mr. Gann is in fact discussing. From there, we could see that the price vibrated back to this area from the crossing of this top and was consistent with our trend lines determining that we would be moving back to this area. In my forecast a few tutorials back, I was talking about this August 26 area where we could see a bottom and a possible dead cat bounce, and I was warning you to watch out for this. We had exactly that. We've had yet a subsequent dead cat bounce, consistent with our trend line. We are presently about to have another little swing top around the 2nd to the 4th of October, within this next few days. And it's consistent right now with this. If Bitcoin is to gain momentum, I expect over the next 30 days, we will be retesting this area and we will make top on October 29th. So mark that on your calendar and on your charts. Our next major swing top for a major reaction will occur on the 29th of October. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at the October ephemeris where we will talk about this. Okay, guys. It's October. I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see this because we got some stuff to discuss here that is quite relevant. Let me move that off there. We have an eclipse season coming up here. I've told you months and months and months and months ago, our low is going to come in between, that's right, the 6th and the 16th. And we were talking about, that's right, Saturn, the brakes, resistance, Chronos, the timekeeper. It's going to hold us. And we have Venus, and it's moving into an exact opposition. And the moon is going to be right there in opposition as well. So I expect that we will see a bottom and then a major kickoff. All right. And we're going to be talking about that because it's really, we're talking about this area right in here. And after this occurs, we're going to have a really big move up. And I'm expecting that we're going to retest this area. It's very possible we suffer a reaction here and become rejected. If this is to occur, we would be returning back to this angle right here. And if we were not to hold this 45-degree angle, which GANN calls the death angle, then we would return back to 25. And if that were to occur, this would be another great area in which to buy the asset for another reaction, should it sit on this area. All right. So further to that, I wanted to show you why I felt the 29th would be an area where we would see the top come in. This is important. Here comes our old friend, Jupiter. That's right. It's making a conjunction or a square opposition with Mars. Also, we have Venus. Venus is right here, and it's making an opposition too with these two planets. We also have the moon. The moon is in Taurus, right where, that's right, Jupiter is, and opposite these two bodies right here. And by the way, Mars and Mercury have come together, and Mercury is going to be the leading planet. Mars is not going to be the leading energy for our updates, and I will be doing consistent updates regarding the leading planet and the things that we can find. So 29th and 30th, that's where we're going to have an extreme top, and then into November we can have a bit of a rollover. We'll talk about that later in the next tutorial. All right, so now I've covered all that. Let's go back to the chart. Let's go talk about the consistencies that I'm discussing. All right, you guys, I have some other things here I'm going to show you. We're going to talk about some things that Mr. GANN was in fact doing, and we're going to compare these things. So I'm just going to make Mr. GANN a little smaller here, just keep him in the foreground to keep an eye on our work. And we're going to talk about these areas here where we can see the the return. So we're going to be talking about these areas right here. And we're going to go back and we're going to look at now our indicators. So let's go take a look at our indicators. We're going to talk about them. So in this period here, we had a fall off, and it is consistent here with our period right here. So we had a fall off. This is consistent with our low and the move up, and where these two, that's right, these two indicator lines here, these moving averages have come together. So we are possibly on a rally right now, which is probably going to rip the face off of everybody if this is to move up. If this is consistent with the indicators, then we can expect a rally. So let's go take a look at this one again. Okay, so we're talking about, right, this whole area right here. This is, and I've copied this area. So we're going to talk about this in a minute. But first, let's go take a look at our indicators. So we had our top, right? We had this top here, and we've had this pullback and this choppy action here, right? So we had our little top here, because I've replicated this area and I've put it right on top of it. That's this right here. That's this top. So we're going to talk about all this. So here we had it, right? We had the pullback. We've had this reaction again. It's exactly consistent with this, okay? Let's go take a look at the RSI, okay? We had this grandiose top, this pullback, right? Here we go. We had this grandiose top. We had this major pullback. And then we had this stepping up action consistent with higher bottoms and higher tops. Same here. Higher bottoms, higher tops, right? We came back, settled down, and then we broke through. Okay, so we're about to do somewhat the same things here. It is not for sure we will have a major rally. However, the indicators are talking to us that they're looking this way. So, enough with the indicators there. Let's now go take a look at our moving averages, because I spoke to you about these before. And when we have the 28-day purple line, which represents our moon, when it crosses the 45 orange line, we always have a rally. So is that going to be the case this time? Well, not necessarily, but we watch all these things. And as you know, I don't leave any stone unturned. So let's just go down here. Let's talk about this really quickly, because this is important. If you're a trader, you need to be aware of what's going on. So drawing my my moving averages, as I've stated to you many times in our previous tutorials, when the purple 28-day crosses the orange line, we have a face-ripping rally, okay? Same thing occurred again here. We came back, we crossed the orange line again, had a major rally, okay? We came back down, we've crossed the orange line again, had a major rally. We're right now just going to do the exact same thing. Let's just go zoom in a little bit, and let's just chew on this, right? We're going to just chew this thing right to pieces. We're going to make this a lot bigger. We're going to zoom in so that you can see the consistencies that we are in fact discussing here with moving averages. We're interested in, that's right, the next change in trend. We've been talking about these changes in trend. We've been talking about the 62-day counts that do come with this when we square these things out. So we're watching this purple line here. This purple line here is just getting ready right now. It's just getting ready. That's right, to cross over our orange 45 moving average. If this is to occur, then we are going to break out of this and we will be moving up, sitting down We'll probably have a movement where we will have another base. It's very possible and likely we just sit down on maybe one of these tops here, possibly this one. If that were to occur, then by the 29th and 30th of October, we will be somewhere consistent with 29 and 30,000. And it does seem that it's possible and likely. We just have to be mindful. We break this line, we're going to need to be running out our trend line to here. So let's go ahead and let's just do a little projection line. And then we'll refer back to our square, and in which case we can find the correct place where we think it may end up. Let's just go have a quick look at that. Just wait for the chart to repopulate here. So this is just going to be a projection line. We're going to run it consistent with the candles and not the wick tops. We're going to just bring it right down onto the flat tops where the body of the candles are. Same with this one. We're just going to cross it here. Note, while these crossings take place, it was a fast move down again to this bottoming area. We're expecting a fast move up from around this area. This is consistent with Saturn making an opposition with Venus, and then the next part of the rally will ensue, and we could have not necessarily the same amplitude as this move here, going up at a very rapid pace. However, we could retest this area. If we were to break out of this area like we did here, then that's right. Our sequence for the 34,000 and the 37,000 and our 40,000. Remember, we were talking about these in our previous tutorials that I got nervous when we weren't. We were talking about this. When we weren't getting above this and sitting on top of this old top, I was very nervous, and I told you to watch out. Something was up, and this is consistent. This is very consistent with what we experienced here in this previous campaign. All right, last October, right before our November bottoms here. Okay, so we're just going to be mindful that a lot of these things that have happened based on, I showed you the past indicators, is re-replicating. Are we about to suffer again? I was saying to you, between the 2nd and the 4th, we're going to have another little swing top, and then from there we're going to move down, and we need to, that's right, we need to get some footing here. Like, we need to stay above this yellow line. This has been an area where we must hold. It is really critical. And looking at the square of 9 here, you can see that 25 is a 90-degree angle with 31 here. So we need to hold this. This level is very critical for us. If we were to lose this level, it's immediately back to 23 and a move back to 21. If we aren't to get a bunch of grip there, then it'll be consistent back down. We will chew on 19, 17, back to our 15, which I expect we will be seeing in the next year, just prior to our blockchain halving events. And we may just get the rest of this scare where we come back and we square out this top at 31 here, and we make a bottom down at 13,000 right here. And now let's not forget that 28 and 25 have been vibrating for us. So it's possible and likely we can vibrate back down to 11,000 and come. That's right, and we can come right on back to this 8 and 9,000 right here, and we would have to stay here. We've never come back to an old blockchain halving event. Our last one was at 8,000. I'm not really convinced that we'll come back to 8,000 yet, but it's possible. If we don't hold this 15 and this 13, then I'm saying for sure, we will be vibrating back to this 9 and 8. But let's not just lose our heads yet. Right now, we've just got to watch this area. If we fail and we do not get above this area at 31 here, and we have a reaction here, then yeah, it's that's right. It's back. And if this level at 25 doesn't hold, that's right. It's right down there again, right? Right down, you know. So let's just see if these levels are going to hold. We're starting to see some resistance right here at this 27 and at this 28. We're starting to vibrate right now today back up to these levels. And if we get above this 28 right here, and this is where we're at, guys. Here's your 28. It's right on this. It's right on our projection line. So, and notice here's our consistency of moving averages here, and it's we're vibrating in and around these areas. So it's important that we watch this. It's really important we watch this. It's if we get a reaction here and sit on this, it's consistent with us moving up and revisiting this 31. And I'd really like to see us get above and sit on this as a trader. You know, I'm not entering any positions until I see a consistent move below or a consistent move above, and sitting on top of our angles and proving to us that it is in fact a safe investment. So just be mindful, guys. You know, we're watching these little reactions here. So these are consistent with past performance. So anyways, I just wanted to post that to you today and show you just what exactly we can be looking out for. If this is to create another wick like this or any of these kind of wicks on top, this would not indicate a really nice outcome. So we need to have a strong finish today on this bar, and we need to start that's right, we need to start making our base here again, sitting on this angle and not moving below our 25. This is a really critical area, so make sure your stops are placed properly, especially if you're trading within these channels. These channels, they can tear a trader to pieces, and I consistently am telling and warning you guys to watch out. This is the safest place to buy an asset, and of course this is one of the safest places to sell the asset. If the asset gets above this and sits on this, it's a strong position. Showing weakness underneath this and a reaction is a sign of great weakness. We could bounce around inside this longer than you have patience to watch Bitcoin. However, thankfully, I've got great patience, and I'm all over Bitcoin. I'm like a hungry tiger. I'm just roaming around the whole time looking for the best placement, and we're getting close. We're getting really close, and I think this November here, we're going to have a rally that is, we're probably going to make a top and then have another rollover. Is it going to be consistent with old tops here? I'm thinking that we're going to be retesting these areas right here. I don't think we're done with 31 yet. But if we show weakness here and we don't get above 28, And 28 right here is the halfway point between our 25 and 31. If we suffer a reaction here and we don't get above 28, then we definitely won't be making it up to this 31 level. So this 28 level, we have to sit on this. We have to sit on this old top here. This is a major overhead report resistance right now, guys. So let's just be mindful of that. Right, and we might be taking another dive right here at looking for your guys' stops. So make sure your stops are within this band here. Otherwise, they're going to start searching for it. If you get knocked out, re-enter on a reaction above this angle right here. Don't re-enter unless we get above this 45-degree angle. This angle is a very important angle. If we were to get above this, then we're going to be moving up to 31. So today I've showed you about the crossing of the angles, where we can expect other places for changes in trend and for price to vibrate to. Just be very mindful, you guys. We're in a sideways channel. This is a very dangerous area. So just be really mindful. It's probably best to just sit on the sidelines for the moment or two while we wait to see what's going to happen here. Because every time we get up to this angle, we get a rejection. So is it that we've played out long enough now that we're about to now have another consistent move up? I think we're just about to retest and have these dead cat bounces. It looks like we're going to get into a bunch of these sucker rallies. If we are to make it above this level and sit on this, then that would be a very safe place to buy. If it sat on top of it and did not show weakness, then we could see the next 40. We can even see a consistent level up to 48, which is an old level, which we have seen before in the previous moves. And if you guys just take a look back, you can see that, on this chart here, we're finding these areas just from the past. And when we do that, so right now we are consistently fighting this whole entire area here. Let's just move Mr. GANN up here, give him a place to watch over us. So we're consistently staying in between this band right here. If we were to make a major move up above this level right here, then our next point would be 40. From there, if we were to not suffer a reaction, our next level is this 48 right here. And this is very consistent with our square of 9. If we were to spin around and come back up and retest 49, that would be a great place to make a short sale and watch a reaction, possibly back down to the 40 and sitting right down on our 40 here. So is that going to happen? Not necessarily, but we are watching all our signs. We're watching our indicators, and right now Bitcoin's starting to show some strength, and we are watching it like a hungry tiger. All right, guys, made this one a little long today. Sorry about that. Peace and love. Watch your stop losses. Keep them tight. Safe trading. Peace and love out there. Tear my tutorials to pieces, and have a great day. I'll see you again.